Hi there. So we're going to try something different. I'm going to sit back here, and I've got the NIV here, NIV Bible. We are going to go to Matthew 24 and see how it lines up. You can see it's all red letter, okay? So, let's read this. Signs of the end of the age. Jesus left the temple and was walking away when his disciples came up to him to call his attention to its buildings. Do you see all these things, he asked? I tell you the truth. Not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will all this happen, and when will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Jesus answered, watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Christ, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. See to it that you are not alarmed with these wars, okay? It says that. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. Have you noticed all the earthquakes lately? Earthquakes everywhere. All these are the beginning of the birth pains. So we're just starting to get into the beginning of the birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. A lot of that going on too. And you will be hated by all nations because of me. All these nations now, Islam, Arabia, and Lebanon, and Iran, and Iraq, they hate America. They hate Israel because of Christ. Okay? At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Got that? And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. And there's a lot of people out there now claiming to be of God and claiming to, oh, I saw this, I saw this. They will appear and they will deceive many people. Okay? Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. But he who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Getting pretty close to that. So when you see, standing in the holy place, the abomination that causes desolation, spoken through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Now that hasn't happened yet. But one person, I think soon, I wouldn't be surprised if he's alive now. It's getting ready. And he'll come forward and everybody will gather around him. Let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the roof of his house go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get his cloak. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. Now he says this here in Matthew 24:22. He also says that in Revelations when he's talking about the church of Philadelphia. All the other churches he had bad things to say about, and they were, you're doing this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. The church of Philadelphia was a small church. It wasn't a mega church. He says, you are the perfect church. In fact, we can jump over there. See if we can find it. I think that's in Revelation 3, I believe. Church in Laodicea. To the church in Philadelphia, when he's writing about the 7 churches. To the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have a little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, which is a lot more churches now than you realize. Anyone talking about money and anyone not talking about Christ and not talking about sin and hell. You know, Jesus talked about hell 50 times more than he talked about heaven. I will make those of you who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not. I've heard some stories about that. But are liars. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you, since you have kept my command to endure patiently. And here it is. I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come upon the whole world to test those who live on the earth. Okay? Now he says that in there. That's first Revelation. That's Revelation 3:10. Okay? We'll go back to Matthew 4:22. 24:22. Or 24. Was it 22? Oh, there it is, yeah. All right, 24:22. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. Okay? That's where people allude to the rapture. Okay? At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and miracles to deceive even the elect, if that were possible. See, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, there he is, out in the desert, do not go. Or here he is in the inner rooms, don't believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible from the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Now, it talks about that in Revelations 2. We talked about that in the Revelation study. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. I tell you the truth, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. And it talks about the day, and he talked about the day and the hour being unknown. Parable of the 10 virgins, parable of the talents. But yeah, he's coming pretty quick. You know, I mean, I believe his great return in the clouds will be after the tribulation, and I don't think the tribulation started yet. You know, I like to believe the rapture will come before that, or we might be in the middle of the beginning, you know, of the tribulations. They're making plans to build the temple over again. The temple has to be built. You know, and the Antichrist will come. You know, like I said, I believe he could be alive right now. You know, he'll come as an adult, and somebody will come on the scene that will, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, he's a great person, and follow him. But those of us who know and who study will see. And hopefully we are among the ones whose days will be cut short. So that's what's happening. It's happening now. You can see everything happening in the Middle East. You know, wars, famines, earthquakes, floods, fires, you know, any day. And in the first part of the tribulation, it says 1/3 of the population will be wiped out. Okay. And then another third, about 3.5 years into the 7-year tribulation. So, but it also says that, for those who miss the rapture, if there is a rapture, more people will be saved during the time after the rapture, during that 7-year tribulation period. More people will come to the Lord than in the entire 2,000 years since Jesus walked the earth. If you take all the people saved during all of that time, at 2,000 years, more people will be saved in that 7 years than all of the 2,000 years. Okay? Billions and billions. So, but it's better to get with him right. Get it with him now, and, have your days cut short so you don't have to endure all this stuff. Right? So, we'll continue this, studying this, but interesting stuff.